Mike,
Chris,
how are you doing?
good. Hold on. We have one step before that.
The intro.
The intro. Hold on.
Here we go.
Welcome to Growing E-Commerce. I'm your host, Mike Ryan. And with me,
Chris,
Hey.
again.
Hey, Chris. This is episode 13 of our co-hosting.
I'm proud of ourselves.
Yeah, lucky number 13.
Yes. Let's see. Let's see.
Exactly. And before we get started, Chris, I have a question for you. Did you watch Dumb Money?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But it's on my watch list.
All right.
Have you watched Margin Call?
No.
Okay. You should do this.
It's on my watch list. Yeah, I was telling Chris that I was actually born in the same city as Rory and Kitty, and then went to the same college as Rory and Kitty, so we knew each other briefly before the millions.
The big question is, have you participated in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, this is one of my
Very personal. Okay.
It's very personal, Chris, because actually we were building our cellar and garage at exactly that time.
All right.
So I was basically underground in mud in winter when this was going down.
And out of money, probably, because everything's...
And zero capital anyway. So I completely missed out on this entirely.
Okay.
And now it's one of the big...
There will be new chances, new opportunities.
One can only hope.
But I will watch it.
All
I
right.
promise.
So I really think it's kind of an inspiring story, but yeah. So we've got a couple topics on the agenda today. Let me lead into the first one here. Just last night at home, Steffi was saying that she's waiting on kind of an overdue return money from Zalando. Do you shop at Zalando? You are the family?
No, but shout out to my wife. I love you. She is, and I will talk about the news. You're breaking now.
Yeah, sure. So these two things are unrelated, but I had to warn Steffi that there is some news from Zalando. They are tightening up their return policies, and yeah, I mean, basically in a nutshell, they're working to identify what they consider disproportionately high return volumes, and I don't know what those thresholds are. I don't think they're transparent about it. And it could, of course, be relative to your overall order volume or whatever. It might be personalized, but...
So there are no specifics out yet?
Not that I've seen, no. But what they'll do, if they think that you have too high return volume, then first they'll give you an email warning. So check your Zalando emails. And it might not just be a coupon or whatever. And then they might... temporarily shut down your ability to place new orders. And if they're really not happy with you, they'll ban you for a year. They'll shut down your account for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about that, right? Happy wife, happy life. Imagine your wife is not allowed to order Zalando anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what is normal shopping behavior and what is not normal shopping behavior?
This is a big question. That's why I would love to get the specifics on it. I mean, just yesterday we had a big quarterly business review with one of our biggest clients, and return rates were a big topic. The return rates of this client were very, very low, significantly below 6%. So I think they're doing a great job there. But it was, again, a massive question. How can we deal with this data in order to understand, okay, which products are actually very prone, right, to be returned, and how can we use this data again to optimize our paid search campaigns? So I think this is a very, very important topic for every retailer.
Yeah.
As far as I know, especially when you talk about the big retailers, I haven't heard anything remotely close to what Zalando is doing right now. Or have you heard any other retailers going down this?
I think Amazon for a while has had an abuse detection policy in there or something, but I can't remember what the penalties are for that. I mean, yeah, this question about what is a good return rate anyway, or low or high, I mean, it varies a lot per category. Of course, it's going to be higher in fashion. Touched on size variance, color variance, etc. And I think there are actions you can take both on, the advertising side. If you have a product with a high average return rate, do you want to promote it as aggressively? Also, is there stuff that you could do on your landing page side? That's definitely where a lot of investments are being made right now too, with AI especially. But like virtual try-on technology.
Talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing and look, I mean, this is of course a small sample, but you can read a lot of studies about that. One thing which makes Zalando and I think in general buying, especially fashion online, so appealing to a lot of people is because you can just order whatever you want, and there is this possibility of return, right? You have your private wardrobe at home because for me, the big question is, how restrictive will Zalando be? Because I think it's a big part of the value proposition, especially against offline shopping. So I would love to get some specifics on it. I think it's a very, very slippery rope.
Yeah, I agree. Because, Steffi will buy stuff in multiple sizes and colors.
Of
Absolutely.
course, of course.
Some of that stuff is going back 100%.
For sure.
But it's done with the best of intentions.
Sure.
There's also, meanwhile, there's like Instagram influencers and TikTokers, and they're buying stuff, wearing it once for a TikTok or for Instagram reel or whatever, and then they send it back. That's clearly abuse.
Yeah.
But some of it needs to be baked into pricing.
Yes.
And, Zalando in their press release, I mean, no judgment on them, but they talk about how this is unfair to other customers because it's tying up inventory. I think there's truth to that. It's not environmentally sustainable. I think there's truth to that too. Unnecessary freight movements, that's disruptive to their processes and partners. But I mean, it's also, let's face it, it's about profitability. That's
for sure.
And the word profitability, our profitability, was not mentioned there. And I mean, I don't know why they need to talk about everything else besides their profitability. Everyone knows that's
the name of the game. Yeah. I mean, just to give context, I mean, and I don't know specific data for Zalando, but fashion industry, I think it's quite normal to look at return rates between 30 and 70%. Varying from, of course, I guess categories. There will be even products which are massive outliers. But imagine that, right? I mean, this of course is a massive driver for profitability. Yeah. And for me, it's again, I mean, look, this is one action you can take as a retailer. Zalando does it now, and let's see how restrictive they are. And I think there will be some impact, I assume, on demand. Probably it will be the right impact because it's demand you maybe don't even want to have in the first place.
Yeah.
But for me, the bigger question is, and we have been talking about this, I think in one of our episodes before, the return rates are one of the first-party data, which is probably mostly potentially impacting your profitability. Yeah. Let's say in Google search, Microsoft search, whatever you do. Yeah. And my question again now is, what is your take on it? First-party data such as return rates. How adopted is this idea that I'm, from a retailer perspective, that I'm really actively thinking about, okay, what first-party data do I have and how to activate it in my, let's say, PMax campaigns, standard shopping campaigns, whatever it is. Because return rates are available, I assume, right, on the retailer side?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, an average return rate is not the hardest data to calculate. It's super important. Like, this is, again, I talk all the time that people hear first-party data, they think of remarketing lists, audiences, and stuff like that. And there's so much more than just your user data. It's your product data as well. So a return rate, that's off-channel data. Google doesn't know about this.
Absolutely.
And it's actually decisive because they're bidding on the order value.
Yes.
And you can then send an adjusted order value later on. But the question is, how soon do you send that value over? And just to give you an example, though, years ago, I wrote an article about this back in 2018 or something about someone who was segmenting their products and scoring them on the basis of...
I can remember. I know, yes. I know.
They had margin brackets and return rate brackets, and they were looking at the intersection of these two and creating buckets. And I mean,
great idea.
Yeah, and certainly in 2018, that was very
highly advanced retailer.
Yeah, but so this data has been around forever. It's been possible to integrate forever, and the question is, will people do it? When will people do it?
I think again, I mean that might be the learning, ladies and gents. I mean, if you want to go down this route, to really, I don't know, potentially ban people with high return rates, I think, yes, I mean, why not? I think the way smarter way would be to more or less anticipate it, right? To be predictable and to acquire clients or to push products where on average I can deal with these return rates. I think it's a way more proactive and smarter way to say.
Exactly. I'm going to dive into two different options here as well. I mean, one thing, and in the Google universe, you can use what's called conversions with cart data. It's a small little snippet of code that you add onto your standard tracking.
It's big.
Exactly.
It's big.
This unlocks your clicked versus bought data, like the lead item, which is what received advertising click, and then what was actually in the order. And this can help bring these kind of effects into your campaign data next to performance, next to everything, so that you can start to look at this. It's down at the item level. You can look at it the brand level, the category level. You can look at it at custom labels too. So you can intersect that with, if you have margin custom labels or whatever in there. This is all possible. Another thing that I'd call out is that Google, I haven't used this, but they have in their Google Marketing Solutions GitHub repository, they have this package that they call, what is it even called? It's called
Return Rate Predictor?
Product Return Rate Predictor. Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
No, it's good. Not all of these little. So I think I've said this maybe on here too before. I say it a lot. I think some of the coolest things being built by Google are not in Google Ads. It's in their Google Marketing Solutions GitHub, and some of them have very intransparent names. This one's very descriptive, but basically they took their they have a crystal value lifetime LTV predictor model that they created, and they've modified that. So what they do is they predict your value after returns, your conversion value after returns for every transaction. So, I mean, as I was saying before, like you can have two customers, A and B, and A comes in at $150 and B comes in at $120. It looks like A is the bigger customer.
Yes.
But adjusted for return rates, if customer A returned 80% of their value and customer B didn't, then things look really different. And the algorithm didn't have a chance to learn on that. Even if you send in modified values after, you need to be as quick as possible and given your return window, and that's maybe not possible. So what this does is it predicts the value, and then you can import the predicted modified value, if that makes sense.
Super smart. I would certainly have a look at it.
It's worth testing.
For sure. Again, because return rate is, I think it's one of the huge dark horses. Everyone knows how big the impact of return rates is on your profit.
Yeah.
But again, with so many retailers, I just don't see this strategy. What do I do with first party data? This is my big shout out to every online retailer listening to us. Look at your first party data and activate it. Build strategies around it. I mean, the prediction of this return rates on basically a client level, if this really works, what Google promises right now, I mean, it's certainly worth a try. We should have a look at this as well, Mike. Maybe we can test it with some clients.
Yeah. I mean, those are things we're talking about that you can do on the advertising side, like looking at return rates, integrating it into your campaigns, into product scoring, etc. Using things like click versus bought data, just really a few extra lines of code, or trying out tools like the product return predictor. On the landing page side, there's a whole other dimension, especially in fashion right now, and that is virtual try-ons.
Yes.
So,
what's going on there?
I haven't used a virtual try-on before.
Me neither.
Okay.
Me neither.
I've used some AR features in the past few years, and they were often pretty underwhelming.
They were.
So, AR was being really hyped, but I think generative AI is a much better way of solving these things. And that's what this kind of stuff does. So, I mean, we're talking about Zalando earlier. They have a huge data science team. In the US, there's a company called Stitch Fix. They were kind of a pandemic darling. I think they're not doing quite as well right now at the moment, but they're trying to find their legs. And they also have a huge data science team. And one thing that they're working on is virtual try-on. So basically you upload an image of yourself, and then they can use generative AI to show you what these clothes will look like. And they're like a subscription company where you get boxes of outfits, like personalized outfits arrive in the mail for you. You don't even have to do the shopping. You see that with independent companies like them, but also the platforms are tackling this too, of course.
And it's a great technology because I assume, I think they're certainly fraud patterns to be detected. I mean, TikTokers, rock the new shirt one time and then send it back. But I literally think a lot of people, uh, you know, go for a broad basket because they just don't know, right? You have this picture online, but you just don't. This technology, I think, is a very smart way to reduce, return rates in a positive way, right? It's positively loaded from a client perspective, and I think it would be the way better way than if you have a lot of return rates, you might be banned for a year. Talking about Zalando again. I think this technology, I haven't tried it out. I mean, who is from your perspective, who is leading the pack right now? Is it Amazon? What
for me, without a doubt, it's Google. Amazon has virtual try-on, but it's just for shoes and eyewear. So those are pretty limited and kind of the easy stuff, I would sort of say. Of course, super important categories anyway for return rates, but Google is definitely leading on fashion with full body try-on. It's coming to Google Shopping. It's coming to a standalone app as well. They also have things like using AI to generate 3D spins. So you can generate, you can upload basically the standard feed pictures that you have, and then they're able to figure out what this thing looks like from all views, so people can rotate it and have a better look at it, then try on stuff virtually. They even have a virtual try-on API, which
is great.
I think that's very exciting. It's going to be allowing retailers to use Google's technology on their own websites.
That's massive.
Yeah. So that will use that's basically in Vertex AI, which is their AI tool inside of Google Cloud. And it uses their Imagen model. So.
Return rate's a big topic, and I think a lot of ways to tackle it. I think message to our listeners. I mean, return rates, probably they look at it anyway.
Yeah.
Big question is what do you do about it, right? And there are different ways to tackle it. Technology on your website, activating first-party data, looking at this return rate predictor from Google. There are ways to tackle this, and it's a massive profitability driver, right?
For sure.
If
it's something that's hurting your company right now, I think the message is that there are options to look at. So definitely.
Let's end on this positive note. There are solutions out there.
Exactly.
Not for every topic, but for this one.
Making headway. And some of it's thanks to AI. So, to AI haters, which I can never decide which I am.
Look, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up, but to the listeners, we had our debate, right? Is there an AI bubble? Another argument. Why there isn't? It's working. Nah, just kidding. But AI helps you.
For sure. There are definitely use cases.
Mike, let's move on. What about what about your shopping behavior going into the peak season? Talking about online retail, Black Friday, holiday season.
Yeah. Well,
do you change your buying behavior?
Me?
Yes. Or your wife? Or
yeah. For sure. I mean, we're absolutely deal seekers. Sorry, but price is almost always it's definitely one of our number one criteria for sure.
Fair enough.
I mean, not always. I just bought out of pure sentiment, this US I Spy series. Do you know these from Walter Wick? They're these beautiful books, and it's I Spy Christmas.
Massively overpriced?
Massively overpriced because the availability here in Europe is just very limited. But I need my kids to have it this Christmas, and I bought it.
I became also a very price-sensitive person, but certainly not when it's even remotely related to my kids.
Yeah, exactly. The price elasticity is totally different with kids and pets usually.
Yeah, exactly. But all jokes aside, because there's some interesting perspective coming directly from Google on this peak season.
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing that we were talked a couple episodes ago about conversion lag, and I think we talked in the episode about how there's seasonality to this. So
the October blues, October is a tough transition month. Yeah,
exactly, because people start deferring their purchases already. This demand gets pulled up, and people are waiting for the deals for this to unleash. On the other hand, something weird that's going on is that Black Friday, as a focal sales event, has somehow become diluted. It's went from Black Friday to BFCM to Black Friday week to Black Friday month.
Maybe we'll have a Black Friday year at one point.
Soon we'll
Imagine that, Mike.
We'll just wait till Black Friday decade. We're just getting started, Chris. Black Friday century. Lifespans are getting longer, Chris. Sales windows need to match this.
1000%. By the way, on a serious note now, also based on the data, when I had my masterclass, I think it was at the DMAX, I talked about the question is Black Friday still massively impacting Q4 for the online retailers?
Yeah.
And although we see some, so we were not talking about the Black Friday levels, let's say during pandemic or pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's definitely there is some I would say cool down to be observed with regards to Black Friday, but it's still by far the biggest Friday in the whole year, right? So Black Friday is still big.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Google, there are other days which are as big as Black Friday.
Exactly. They have a new thesis this year, let's call it. They're calling it the Triple Peak Week.
Sounds great.
The marketers at Google.
Yeah, they are good. I'm always wondering now, I mean, there's no AI in it. There's no performance in it. just call it Triple Week.
Or can we call it Peak Triple Max Week?
Max Week, Performance Week. But what is it about?
Yeah, their thesis is that besides like Black Friday is one of those 3 peaks, but the other 2 are what they call Surging Sunday, and that's the Sunday before.
Yeah.
And then Cyber Sunday, which is the Sunday immediately following. So you might have heard of Cyber Monday, of course, but they're saying that actually it's all about Surging Sunday, Black Friday, and Cyber Sunday, and
which makes sense.
Yeah. How do you feel? You think that Sunday is just a logical shopping date for consumers?
It's look. I mean, the big thing, the big caveat, honestly, is Google is talking about demand, right? So they look at these 3 days as super strong days from a demand perspective.
Yeah, they even say that for context, that Surging Sunday has 107% of the demand
of Black Friday. So it's bigger than Black Friday.
Yeah.
Based on demand, my question now to Google would be, what does demand mean, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is, I think, very much connected to the conversion lag topic, because the question is the demand on Sunday, let's say the Sunday before Black Friday. But I assume when Google is talking about demand, I think it's just search volume.
I think so too.
And it's certainly not based on conversions, conversion rates, and so forth. However, it might still be a very important day, right?
Yeah.
To from a strategic perspective, to really be there when people just start their research for the Black Friday conversions.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a lot of sense. Big question would be, what does Google mean with demand?
Yeah, that's my question too. I would love to see if they have like some further materials about it. I think it's probably search volume too. And the tricky thing here is that that's actually maybe the peak of latent demand. Like
exactly.
That demand, it's given, there's people are searching, they're researching. But in that case, it's probably about moving a step up funnel, talking about like demand gen campaigns.
Yes.
Your meta activity as well. These are the things that are going to support search lift and support conversion volume down the line.
It perfectly feeds into the episode we had when we talked about the October blues, or the lead up to this peak season. I think it's just wrong to look at this isolated data, what conversions happen during that time, because a lot of conversions don't happen during that time.
Yeah.
But if you look at the rack conversion data, which is conversion by time, you will find out that these data might be very, very important to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's the worst thing an online retailer could do is to just think about, okay, I'm ready for this Black Friday week, and the weeks before, I'm just, I don't know, maybe even be defensive with my ad spends. I think this is the worst thing you can do, because the demand is happening, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be there. This data supports our thesis,
Yeah.
which might be obvious anyway. But I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
My question, we will certainly do some Black Friday or peak season review anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So we should talk about that in one of our episodes.
Yeah, that's right. I have not, I will be doing some research in advance of Black Friday about last year, the past years. So I think we can share that here. We're also, we have a free tool on the website called Market Observer. It's smec Market Observer, and you log in with an email address, and then you can see a different like Yeah, I don't want to say benchmark CPC values, but things like CPC, click-through rate, and stuff like that. And I'm working right now on an overhaul of that. We're going to be adding like a competition monitor and some other stuff, and all this stuff will be available in time.
Yeah.
So,
And it's a hell of a tool.
Yeah.
And it's free. I mean, it's crazy.
it's free.
It's free. No, look, I mean,
Really?
the-
Well,
the-
it's nothing's free. It's the cost of your email address.
exactly. We want your email. No, but really, this benchmark data. Just to remind the listeners, we have billions and billions of data points, right? I mean, there are advantages being a big player in this paid search universe.
Yeah.
And one of advantages that we have this overview, and I'm really looking forward to this overall. I would really encourage everyone to look at this Market Observer tool. It's really great. It gives you perspective on your own data.
So,
Mate, time flies.
yeah, shout out accomplished.
Yeah, I think yes. Shout out accomplished.
Yeah.
There at least one shout out per episode.
Right.
That's my new goal. No, I'm not kidding. It's really a great tool.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Do you want to do the outro, Chris? Or
Man, I would love to, but there's just no way I can do it as charming as you. So man, the floor is yours.
I think I'm known for being awkward rather than charming. I'm not sure.
I love the cringe. But mate,
Yeah.
handshake first. What a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
All right. This has been another episode of Growing E-commerce, brought to you by Smarter E-commerce, also known as smec. To learn more, you can visit smarter-ecommerce.com, and we have great free resources there, like our Market Observer, some free scripts and tools, our blog, all kinds of stuff. So head on over, and thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.